Hey everyone, welcome back to Straight Up the Dubs. I'm Axel, and today we're doing a little bit of carb diagnosis on the 64. I've been driving this car a little bit because SG's spare motor's not too happy, and it's got some carb issues, a stumble, kind of off idle, and so I've been messing with it a little bit, but I figured if I'm going to be messing with it, I might as well take you all along. So maybe if you're having a similar issue with your car or carb, then you'll be able to help diagnose it. A little bit of info real quick. This motor is just 1300. It's got a H3031 carburetor on it, and then empty exhaust and ratio rocker arms. So pretty stock motor, just a cruiser. It usually cruises pretty well, but it's been having some issues, so hopefully we can get those fixed and get it running good. So I'll start it up, I'll try to show y'all, and then we'll go into our diagnosis from there. There you go, now you start to see it. Alright, so I've been asking around for some VW people because my motor and SG isn't very stock, so I'm not used to, you know, stock carbs, stock fuel pumps, stuff like that. And this is one of the old school fuel pumps, and there's a little filter right in here. You won't be able to really see, like right there where the belt is, that little brass piece. And I was asking Gary from VW Life, and he was telling me to check this little filter. So I'm thinking it's a fuel starvation sort of issue, because if you saw when it was popping, you know, it seems like it's not getting fuel. So it's either going to be this. The fuel filter is also a little nasty, so I'm going to look at that and then replace those two, see how it runs, maybe go on a test drive. And then from there, you know, I got a carb kit. We can take the carb apart, spray it out, clean the jets, make sure everything's functioning right there. But I'm going to start with some of the more simple stuff first before I go to just... There's going to be some gas that comes out, hopefully not a ton. Not too much. A little dribble there. So I mean this little filter, hold on, let me get some contrast. Not gummed up, but definitely still not super clean. Alright, so as y'all see this fuel filter, this thing's definitely pretty old. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. I don't know if that's totally an issue, but even if it's not, you know, in the best shape, it can cause some flow issues. You know, maybe if it's not filtering right, some gunk's getting to the tank. Also, this is gonna be interesting. Oh. So, I'm probably gonna look stupid doing this, but I'll try to blow through it and see if it flows well still. This is the new one. As you see, easy. And this old one, got a little bit of restriction, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace this real quick. I'm trying to get you set up pretty well there. Why is there so much gas in that one? Then remember to double check these. I'm going to tighten these, but before I even start the car, I'm going to just make sure that they are tight, because if that, you know, comes off, it's right next to the distributor. Sorry, try to get the angle right. So if that comes off and you know, it's right next to the distributor, which is throwing sparks, gas plus spark equals fire, which then equals no more Volkswagen, and we don't want that. We want Volkswagen. So just get this thing tight. It seems to be acting decently so far. I'm going to take it around the block and and then we'll come back. Alright, let's go on a quick drive around the block. Backfired out of the carb, so probably got some tuning to do. Alright, so I just went out for a spin around the block. Still acting a little funky, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the carb off and spray the jets out and clean the circuits. You know, we got some gaskets for it, so we'll throw some gaskets at it and go from there. But if it's not this, then I might start checking spark, even though I'm pretty sure it's not a spark issue, like a timing spark issue. Because my thought is if it was a spark issue, it would be happening at all points. I say all points, at all RPM ranges. And this seems to, like, when you're kind of, like when you're first getting on it, and then when you let off the gas to, let off the gas for a second when you shift and then get back on it, kind of, and then has to stumble and catch up to itself. So we're gonna take the carb off. Then, it's just two 13 mils and then the accelerator cable, so, and the fuel line. So I won't show you all that, but once I get it off, we'll start looking at it and tear into it. So I got the top of the carb off, and first thing I noticed right off the bat is a tear in the main gasket. I don't think that would be causing our main issue, but everything's kind of just dirty, icky, gross in here, so I'm gonna start cleaning some stuff. I may not film most of it just because it's very I don't want to say tedious, but it's hard to do with two hands and a camera. But I can link some videos. I found some videos that I watched on cleaning these carbs out. It's an H3031 pick. All right, I got the carb rebuilt, sort of sprayed out. Things I noticed, I think I recorded it, but that gasket was broken, and then the base gasket from the carb to the intake was in two pieces. So I sprayed it out, and then I also kind of reset the tuning, so we're gonna have to do some tuning on it, which that's a dwell meter, but it also does RPM, so I'll be able to set the auto RPM around 900, which is about what it says for these. So let's go ahead and get this bolted on and then start it and see what happens. All right, car's on. I'm gonna give it a shot of starting fluid, and then we're gonna see how it runs. So I did some tuning on the carb, and then I also was looking, these little pieces of hose, I can't see it right, they go on, you know, the metal line that goes from the carb to the vacuum canister on the distributor to advance it. They were a little frayed, and I think that was causing some sort of vacuum leak. Again, I'm hypothesizing here, but if that was leaking, it wouldn't have been advancing the time, which would have been, if y'all saw that pop through the carburetor or through the carb when it was running. Usually, I mean, that's timing related. So we're gonna go test drive it. I gotta get cleaned up and test drive it, see how it runs, and go from there. All right, test drive time. So far, but this time last test drive it started to stumble. I'm gonna get it out on the actual road, you know, not my neighborhood, so I can get up to speed, like, you know, 45, 50. Why not do a highway run just yet? Because I want to make sure that it's acting decent before I try to get it up to like 70, 65. I'll probably still have to tweak the carb a little bit, just because I put it at base setting and it's, you know, tweaked it a little bit. It's idling around 950, which for what the guides say is a little high, but that's why my dad has always had it set, so that's why I'm doing it. And then I also so I placed those little pieces for the vacuum canister, and then I also did the plug wires, because I was starting to notice that they were a little brittle. So I had a spare set that was basically brand new, we hadn't used, so I threw those on there, just to, you know, try to help it run a little better. Might have to tweak the idle a little bit, maybe, no, just sitting at a stoplight. It's yeah, so what I was saying, I don't know if the video caught it right, is those little pieces of hose, they pull vacuum to advance the timing. It's a vacuum advanced distributor, whereas like a 009 is centrifugal, so there's no vacuum. So those little pieces, the one on the distributor was starting to fray, and so it had a little crack, and I guess it wasn't pulling vacuum or pulling enough, so it was backfiring through the carb, and I guess the carb wasn't the main issue. I mean, it still was a little dirty, so I did clean it out, and, you know, that's good. Found that gasket had a tear, but you know, and of course I'm not 100%, it still could, you know, mess up on me, but we're gonna see just how good it runs once I get to once we get out of the stoplight and get up to speed.